Socialist. You heard it many times, so much so that a survey by TVEyes.com found that in just one day, the president's programs were referred to as either socialist, communist, or Marxist 40 times. Here's the breakdown. CNN twice, Headline News twice, MSNBC 6 times, Fox News, no surprise there, 24 times. Since that study Tuesday, the market has taken a surprising bounce. We were just talking about it moments ago, and Patricia Murphy joins us now from CitizenJanePolitics.com. Hey, Murph.
Hey.
Is the president no longer, with a smile on my face, a socialist, at least not in the last 4 days?
Well, there's an old saying that Americans are capitalist on the way up and socialist on the way down. Maybe that's a new saying, actually, but we're on the way back up. It looks like he has shed his socialist credentials at least for 4 days. Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk to you about something that's going on in the Republican Party that's awfully strange. Michael Steele apparently has done it again. He's angered his party's right wing, sounding more like a moderate Democrat than what he is, the leader of the Republican Party. In fact, as we look at this, we can't help but wonder if, in fact, he's done something a little strange. Here we go. These are some of Michael Steele's latest hits on abortion. This is from his interview with GQ magazine. I'm sure you've seen this. GQ asks, "Are you saying you think women have the right to choose abortion?" Steele, yeah. I mean, again, I think that's an individual choice. GQ, you do? Steele, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Murph, is it not almost Republican orthodoxy that life starts at conception? How can a chairman seem to be so out of line with the orthodox ideology of the party?
Right. Well, Republicans about 10 years ago actually had a conservative wing and a moderate wing. There were a number of pro-choice Republicans. That wing of the party is essentially gone now. They're really down to their base. And what Michael Steele was talking about in that GQ interview, even the fact that he's talking to GQ is a little bizarre for a Republican to be doing. And that was a stance. He came in and clarified it, said he himself is pro-life. He was espousing a view. He's kind of talking about his mom's choice to adopt him. But at any rate, this is something that has run totally afoul of the Republican base of the party. One Republican came out and said yesterday that Steele needs to reread the Bible.
You know, it's not just, if it were just one comment, you make them, I make them, and wish we'd said it differently, right? But here's another strange take, you know, considering it's a Republican speaking here. On the question of homosexuality, Steele, you just can't simply say, oh, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to stop being gay. It's like saying tomorrow, I'm going to stop being black. Now, most conservatives tend to think that homosexuality is a choice, but let me put the question this way. Steele obviously wants to change the way the GOP does business and how it's perceived.
Yes.
How's that working?
Well, clearly it's not working for him very well right now, but he won that election, that Republican chairman election fair and square. It was on the 6th ballot, but that showed how divisive or how divided this party is right now. And when he comes out and makes these gaffes, in politics a gaffe is really, they say a gaffe is just speaking your mind. And I think this is him being very honest. I think it is very appealing actually to independents who are reading that interview, but the independents right now aren't with Republicans. It's the base that he is really offending at this point. And so when he comes out and makes these gaffes, it just gives him another day to have to explain himself. The real test for him, though, is going to be, can he raise money for Republicans and can he recruit candidates? I don't think he's really going to be in any real trouble until we get the answers to those questions. Well,
that's an interesting point, considering what may actually be going on inside the party. Parts of this interview, charitably put, really also, well, they don't make sense, whether you're on the left or on the right, or no matter how you're looking at this thing. Steele contradicts himself on several occasions, as he does here. I think we've got a good example of this. You ready? President Obama were to say, if President Obama were to say, come over to the Oval Office, since I'm trying to be so bipartisan, that's the question, Steele says, oh, I'd do that in a heartbeat, referring to going over and talking to Obama. GQ asks, and what would you say to him? Steele says he would say, let's work together, he would say to the president. But then in the interview, another part of it goes like this. He's asked, do you think bipartisanship can work? Steele, no, it doesn't work. This is a zero sum. Your winning is my losing. My winning is your losing. You have to wonder, as you look at this, Which Steele is the GNC chair? I mean, the RNC chairman here.
Yeah, I don't know. I read that many times. I don't know what he was trying to say at the end of the day. And this gets to another problem that the Republicans have right now. Steele really is, in spite of these interviews, still the best spokesperson they have out there right now. There's no other high-profile face of the party. There's nobody else out there giving quotes that people are paying attention to other than Rush Limbaugh. So they have to get the attention back on their issues. But again, they have to get back to just the nuts and bolts of winning back the majority of the electorate. They've got to raise money, they've got to recruit candidates, and they have to grow their tent. He did say in that interview, they've got to reach out to minorities, they've got to reach out to independents. The base of the party doesn't necessarily agree with that in terms of reaching out to independents, but that's what he says he wants to do. He's getting a lot of pushback in trying to do it, and that's why we're seeing kind of all of these back and forth from Republicans every time Mr. Steele seems to open his mouth.
And, of course, some of the lefties are having a good time with this. Folks in the Democratic Party are sitting there going, you see, you can't get your act together. Like, for example, let me show you somebody who's replying right now. They're on Twitter. They're watching this newscast. They obviously skew to the left, and they're saying, Michael Steele is too smart to be a Republican. Interesting comment. We thank you for that. And Murph, we thank you as well.
Thanks, Rick.
Unbelievable picture.